Hi, I'm Drew with B&D Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, and today we're going to answer some of the more common questions we have about air exchangers. One of the first questions we have is, where is my air exchanger? Today we'll take you down to the mechanical room where the typical application for installation of an air exchanger is. In most homes, your air exchanger is located near your furnace or in the mechanical/utility room. One of the first things you need to do before maintaining your air exchanger is to remove the power source from it. So we'll go over to the outlet, find the cord that's attached to your air exchanger, and unplug it. One of the most common questions we have about air exchangers is, what is it and what does it do for my house? In the most simple terms, the way I like to explain an air exchanger to our customers is, think of it a way of opening a window any time of the year without actually having to open a window. Its main job is to bring fresh air in from the outside and expelling stale old air outside of the house, hence the name air exchanger. Another common question we get on air exchangers is, what do I need to do to maintain the unit? First thing we want to do to maintain our air exchanger is to remove the service cover. Normally there are two clasps on the door that'll pull the door open. On this one, it's oriented on the bottom. However, sometimes in certain applications they can be on the top. With air exchangers, the door does fold open. One of the easier ways to maintenance it to get the filters out is actually to remove the door. Just a quick thump like that, and then the door is out. Common components of an air exchanger are going to be the filters, blower assembly, and the passive heat exchanger. Most commonly, you can find your maintenance instructions located on the passive heat exchanger. One of the first things you're going to look at is the filters in the unit. You're going to want to inspect them and clean them once. So even on a brand new unit like this in a brand new house, we do have some debris that's already built up on the intake from the house. This is most likely just light sanding dust and touch up, or even some paint dust that's been filled up on the filter. After you've removed the filters and got those cleaned, washed, and are out drying, what we want to do is come back down here and actually remove the heat recovery core or heat exchanger. What you simply want to do is grab the yellow part and then slide it out of the unit. You'll then take a tub of warm water with mild detergent and actually submerge this in there, letting it soak for approximately 3 hours. Your core and filters are already been rinsed and are drying. That's a good time to come back to the case and wipe down the insides, vacuum out any large debris that may be in here to make sure we get a nice clean interior case. After all the components that you've cleaned had time to dry, we're now going to reassemble the unit. Notate that there is an arrow that we are pointing to. Filter going there. Filter pointing here. Now we're going to install the door. You'll notice that there's these peg hinges at the top that are going to fit into these grooves. And push to the right so that you hear a clunk. You know that they've been securely fastened. And redo your clips. Now we've come to an existing home to look at a dirty air exchanger drain line. Over time, your air exchanger drain line is going to get filled with debris because it is bringing in outside air and contaminants before it goes through the filtration system. We've already gone through cleaning the filters and the passive heat exchanger. Now we'll go through the process of cleaning and maintaining the drain line. In your drain line, you are going to see a certain amount of water in it. It is normal. It's pulling humidity out of the air through the heat exchanger. The drain line does look dirty. Most of the time this is just aesthetic, but we'll show you how to check and make sure that it's not blocked. One of the things I like to do is vacuum out the line with a wet dry vac. All you need to do is pull it off the unit, hold this above the water level so it doesn't pour all over the floor. And then vacuum out the dirt and debris. See, after vacuuming out, there is still some staining in the tubing. If this does bother you, you can get vinyl tubing from your local hardware store and replace it. In this case, this one's a 1/2 inch inner diameter, but check your specific unit for the appropriate size. We'll be pouring water in this bottom portion of the air exchanger. It is a tray to collect all the water and funnel it towards the drain line. However, when you're pouring water, just be slow and cautious so that you don't overflow the tray. So now we'll put the tubing back onto the air exchanger. You want to push up and make sure that it's fully seated. And now we'll go get some water to fill the drain line and to verify that it is free of any blockage. And we want to just fill it and make sure that we get good drainage through the pipe. And as you can see, it flows through here, no blockages. As far as controlling your air exchanger, on the unit there's typically a control box mounted on the side. On this specific unit, it's right here. You'll notice a black button here. This is for a remote control or manual operation on this specific unit. You're going to have 3 modes of operation on this specific one. With no light on, you're going to have what's called off, or remote control, which would be like if you have a wired control up at there. Your first click is going to make a couple noises. It's going to be a low speed on fan. This is going to be a continuous low speed that it's going to be recirculating the air through your house, bringing fresh air in and expelling the old stale air. The next click is going to go to a green light, and you're going to hear the fan ramp up a little bit louder. This is on high mode. If we hit it one more time, it's going to go through its shutdown sequence, and it's going to go into the off or standby. Over the controls of the air exchanger down at the unit. In this case, we have a remote controller operation installed by the thermostat in this house. We'll now go over the operations of this specific controller. On this specific control, the off LED tells us that the unit is currently off. On first push, it's going to illuminate green, which will give us intermittent operation. That means the unit's going to run for 20 minutes out of every hour. On the second push, the indicator is going to turn an amber or yellow color. This is going to operate it on its minimum fan capacity continuously 24/7. The next push is going to go to red, which is going to indicate that we're on our max blower speed for the air exchanger, operating it like that 24/7. An additional push brings us back to the off or standby mode. So I know we gave you a lot of information on the air exchanger, but in summary, remember, it's the lungs of your house bringing fresh air in. Maintenance on it is going to be every spring and fall, cleaning the filters every spring and fall, and then the core once a year.